Hello, guys.
Oh, well, shit.
Welcome back to Better with Jackson and Jordan number 7. We are... So, I don't know why it's an awkward start. We are doing... I was listening to only music and you were listening to only podcasts. And we're going to see what's better to do. Please say something.
I'm waiting to see how long you can go.
Not very long. Not very long.
So, yeah, well, I love music. You love podcasts. We swapped.
So this is like a comparison where we both actually tried both things, which is very rare.
As in, yeah.
Because I've been listening to podcasts for ages, and then I was like, okay, let's try music. What is better to listen to? Is it better to get knowledge, or is it better to just vibe?
I don't know. Well, you know what I think. So I gave you a few albums, and you gave me a few podcasts, and we traded.
We did trade.
Let me read out what I wrote day one.
Okay.
Because I think that'll get us off to a good start.
All right, we're straight into it.
I found this incredibly difficult.
So did I. Yeah, okay. This was unexpectedly the hardest week.
Easily. I'd rather run or do anything else than listen to a podcast, which is I'm not losing the irony of the situation. Me complaining about podcasts on a podcast. But here we go.
True.
All right. So Jordan sent me a few. First one I listened to was Dr. K, not verses, but I wrote verses. Asmongold.
Yeah.
You describe what that is.
I can't really remember it at this point, honestly, but Asmongold is like, he's just one of the biggest streamers in the world, but he's kind of also like the ultimate degenerate. Like the ultimate, just like what you imagine, like, I guess, someone who just plays video games all the time and cares about nothing else.
He was pretty open about just like not caring about how his room's clean and stuff like this.
And Dr. K is like a therapist. Psychologist.
Yeah. He's obviously some sort of something if he's a doctor, or is that just a sort of...
No, it is psychiatrist. That's
psychiatrist, yeah.
And he also kind of specializes in video game addiction, and like he knows a lot about video games and stuff as well.
Right.
So anyway, they had a bit of a chat.
So it was a good meet-up. It was a bit of an awkward start. And I, spoiler alert, I didn't finish this. I lasted about an hour. I can't remember how long it was.
Okay.
Did I write down... Oh, no, yeah, I did.
Wait, you missed the best part, though.
What's the best part?
Because it's like, I don't know how they go. It's like they're talking and then the person just talks about their problems for the first half or first 3 quarters. And then the finale is always Dr. K being like, boom, knowledge drop. And then the person's like, oh my God.
I don't think that was going to happen.
It always happens.
I don't think so.
That's why it's the best.
Asmongold was resisting him.
Yeah, but they always hit him at the end, bro. Oh,
right.
This is terrible.
Here's what I wrote.
Oh, no, you didn't listen to all.
A weird conversation. Felt like an expert who was pretty patronizing and someone who was getting therapy but didn't want to. Not sure I liked it. Lasted about 25 minutes. Felt like hours.
25 minutes? I think it was like 2 hours. It was 25 minutes.
Okay, and then No, because I listened again on day 2.
Okay. That was it for day 1.
That was it for day 1.
Okay.
Well, sort of. I'll come back around. Hang on, sorry. Have been thinking about Dr. K again. Is he a professional? Listened again and he
just Googled.
I didn't have time. Listened again and he tried to put a metaphor that wasn't complicated into WoW loot terms. This is ridiculous. I am not listening to this again. Asmongold seems quite humble and quite in control of his emotions. He is honest. Dr. K, I don't trust this man. That was day 2. I didn't write how far I got, but I got sick of it. At one point, he's like, it was so basic. He was like, you just don't know what you get. This is an example. I can't remember exactly what it was. He's like, sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get from your day. And Asmongold's like, oh yeah, true. And then he's like, well, let me put it in this term for you. It's like opening a loot box in WoW. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. And Asmongold's like, yeah, yep. And I was like, what is going on? This is terrible. He was so patronizing.
I don't remember what happened in that podcast, honestly.
I was so off it.
But
I was not happy about that. And that was day 1 and 2. And I was really like, I'm not going to be able to do this.
I've sent you a bunch. So I sent you Dr. K talking to...
That was just at the top of the list. That's the first one.
Okay, I should have sent them in order. So I sent you that one. I also sent you a Joe Rogan one. Where he
which I
talks
did
to
listen to.
David Cho. And then you apparently didn't listen to this one.
I didn't listen to any other ones.
Okay, you didn't listen to Jocko Willink. I wish you listened to the Jocko one. Anyway, so that was what, your day 1 and 2?
That's just podcast one, I'll call it. I don't know. Because I did swap. On day 1, I thought I'm going to have to listen to something I like a little bit.
Okay.
So I swapped to Tape Notes, which is a podcast where musicians come on and talk about their music.
Awesome, yeah. How was that? Was that better?
I loved it.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So I do like podcasts. Like, obviously I've listened to podcasts before, but I don't know. Something about Dr. K really rubbed me the wrong way.
That's so funny.
And I was really off your suggestions, but I came back and I did listen to Joe Rogan, but I'll come back to that in a second.
Okay. I'll give you my first kind of 2 days in.
So I gave Jordan a few albums.
Yes.
And I guess he'll go over what they are.
The first one that I was listening to was you sent me MF Doom.
Yeah. One of my favorites.
He was, pretty good.
He was pretty good. Yeah.
I didn't really give it like a review on the actual albums, I would say. If I would do it right now, this is not the music I kind of listen to. Jackson's music, just overall, was so chill.
Yeah.
And it was painful.
You didn't like it?
I'm like the opposite, where, I don't know, is your natural state maybe... Is your natural state... What's your natural state?
No, my natural state is overthinking, anxiety, etc.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because I feel like my natural state is just so like, if there was a line, my natural state is like brrr, at the bottom at all
Chilling,
times.
all the time.
And so I like to listen to music to kind of amp me up or like get me excited. Like every time I listen to music, I'm like, I want it to like give me energy. So anyways, I'll get to that later because this one wasn't super chill, but music just has a big effect on like your emotions.
100%.
Which I didn't enjoy.
Okay.
So it starts off Wednesday, right? Day 1.
Day 1.
And I think I had to put some clothes away.
Yeah.
So then I put on MF Do. First song is Accordion.
Yeah.
And it just had like a really like sad vibe to it.
Right.
We can't play it obviously on this, but listen to it for a second and it's just like and then immediately I was just like, I just feel sad now. Like,
that doesn't make me feel sad at all. Interesting.
Really? I was just immediately like, I just feel sad. Like, what's going on? This sucks. And then Holly started to listen to the Spotify because we share Spotify.
Yeah.
So then I just had no music. And then it did have one benefit, which I was just so bored that I ended up like doing like some chores, like putting the bins out and stuff.
Because you didn't have music and you couldn't.
And I didn't have
Spotify.
podcasts.
Yeah.
Because usually I'll like listen to a podcast.
What do you listen to? YouTube or something?
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of the time, if you listen to a podcast in your free time, you can kind of just sit and listen, and that's enjoyable enough on its own. But I was just like so bored that
I definitely found like when I would try and do stuff and listen to a podcast, it'd be too much. I was kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a lot.
Right. So, if you found that one hard, the other one I sent you is going to be impossible. Music for airports?
Yeah.
You're going to hate that.
Well, day 2.
Okay.
What did I write? I don't even know what I wrote here. Mad villain. Sounds chill. I don't know what he's talking about, though.
Yep.
Because I feel like there was a lot going. It was almost like a podcast. It was like Jesus talking in parables. It was just like he just kept going, and I'm kind of doing other stuff. Didn't know what he was talking about. I'm just getting the chill vibes. And I'll be honest, day 2 I cracked. I listened to a podcast.
Early crack. I cracked so many times. Don't worry.
This was one of the things that you don't know you're addicted to something until you try to stop it.
100%.
I am addicted to podcasts.
We both suffered the same fate.
Okay, because I was like, because it pops up on my YouTube recommended as well.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 podcasts. I was like, I can't not watch these. It was like, one was...
I can't not watch
Jocko
this.
and
That
Craig.
is what drug addicts say.
I know, it's coming out.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Francis Ngannou, who was on Joe Rogan. I was like, I can't. It's like one of the best UFC fighters, one of the best jiu-jitsu guys. And I was like, how can I just not listen to them? And so I cracked, and it was great.
You listened to 2 podcasts?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I think
Because they're so long. That's why
I'm
it made
addict.
me... Everything you sent me was like 4 hours long.
Yeah, I didn't realize I'm a genuine. I think I have a genuine addiction,
Yeah.
which we'll get to. Anyway, go back to you
All right,
on the
back to me.
music.
So, okay, let me read out what I wrote for day 2. Okay, so I swapped to the David Cho. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah. Oh, I think so.
Liked this conversation. Have listened to very little JRE before this. Is his childlike wonder helping him excel?
Joe, that's
Yeah.
what he's the best at, I feel. I
Right.
think that's why his podcast is so popular. I feel like he's really good at just getting the most out of someone. So I listen to Joe based on like, oh, there's someone I like going on.
Yeah.
And he's really good at just being like, wow, tell me more about this. And he's like, yeah, he's really good at that.
I thought, like I say, he's childlike wonder. Don't like how I can't do anything while listening to podcasts.
Is it like, what, too overwhelming?
Yeah. Like I can't.
What would you try to do?
I think I tried to like even hang the clothes out. And I was mucking it up. No, I don't know. I can't remember.
That's
But
funny.
I found it hard. Like you say about the music, like we were bored.
Yeah.
Like you can sit there and listen to a podcast. It's like, I want to be doing something. Right. Listen to 3 again.
3?
3 is an album that I did send you.
Oh, you listen to music?
I listened to it. Yes, I listened to it on day 1 as well.
You cracked day 1.
Well, okay.
We both
I wrote
cracked.
swapped to tape notes with Fortet talking about his album 3. Cheated and listened to it.
Oh, you're listening to the podcast and he's like talking about music the
And
whole
I was
time.
like,
You're
I've
like,
got to listen to
I've
this
got-
album. So, listen to 3 again. I feel calm. Feel like when there's no time to think or reflect when listening to a podcast. Too distracting? ? I enjoy how you can drift in and out of focus with music, particularly electronic instrumentals. Oh, and then I said, have anything about Dr. K, like I said before. Don't trust him.
Don't trust him.
And then day 3, I guess I'll keep going.
Yeah.
I listened to another tape notes, this time with Caribou, another musician that I like, talking about an album that I like.
Nice.
And then I listened to the album after that. So I'm doing poorly at this point in time.
And then you're finding the podcasts to be quite overwhelming.
So I got a bit further than this, but I stopped writing down my thoughts because I kind of just would listen to as much David Cho podcast as I could stomach for the day and then would give up.
How long would you listen?
I got it probably about 10 minutes.
Really?
15 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
And then I'd just be like, I need a break from this talking.
Wow.
It's like...
I didn't real. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's like, this sounds dark or something, but it's like, there's too many voices in my head already. I don't need more voices. I just need like something to listen to that's like sort of noise.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
right.
describe it.
That's so interesting. Because, yeah, day 3 I wrote, didn't realize how addicted I was. I really want to listen to a podcast. This is when I went to your house and I had to drive 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
listening to Jay Dilla.
Yes.
It was so bad. I hated it. It was Donuts album by
Donuts
Jay
album.
Dilla.
Good album.
Just so like I don't even know like this music. I don't even know what's happening. It's just weird music.
Yeah.
It was a bit more energetic, but it was still like
He made that album while he was dying.
oh my god.
So if you talk bad about it, it's so disrespectful.
Okay, well I do have my worst and best song out of everything that you sent me coming up
Yeah,
at
great.
the end.
Worst and best song. Okay, keep going.
Just not album, sorry.
Yep.
But yeah, I found the opposite where I guess I didn't realize how much dopamine I must be getting from listening to podcasts because obviously since for the last 11 years of my life, I would say I'd been listening to podcasts and I'll listen to podcasts while I play games. So I've
I can't do that.
So I think I've gotten almost very used to having that much going on.
That
and
makes me
being
feel
normal.
so overstimulated when that's happening.
So I think that's become my baseline, and then the music was so understimulating that it was
Did you find that you would think about things more?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Spoilers.
But yeah, I did start to kind of drift off and think a lot more, but the initial thoughts were just me thinking about how I wanted to listen to a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I constantly had the same battle where just like, I can't handle this.
But so the opposite battle.
The
Yours
opposite battle.
overstimulation,
It's like, I
mine's
just
under.
feel overwhelmed. I need to stop.
Yeah.
Especially like Joe Rogan is not a chill podcast, I wouldn't really say. Not for me at
Oh, you
least.
should. I wish you listened to the Jocko because the Jocko is so unchill.
Right. I would have been effed.
I wish you listened to that one to hear your thoughts on that.
I had to kind of swap. Like I listened to a bit of like talkback radio for footy.
Oh yeah, something
and
more
like
chill.
more talking sort of stuff, and they were just talking about AFL, whatever. And then like the tape notes one, because it was stuff that I was interested in. And there was one other podcast that I used to listen to that I popped on, some comedy podcast.
That's very interesting because a lot of the stuff I listen to is almost the opposite, where it's pretty like it's either whatever Dr. K talking to someone about psychology.
Yeah.
The Jocko one is like about he was like a Navy SEAL who like went to war, and it's pretty much every time it's like him reading a book
Right.
about someone's experience at war.
Right.
And like what, like I think the one I talked to you was like someone who got captured by the Japanese and tortured and stuff.
Right.
And then like they talk about it. And
Not
like,
chill.
Yeah. And
See, I
it's
found
so opposite.
the first half of that, or first, maybe just like from 30 minutes to about an hour, where he's talking about his mental state. I found that really good.
The Joe Rogan,
the David Show
one.
And then he starts talking about how he goes and tries to find a dinosaur or something. And I was just like,
good.
oh,
I can't. That was my favorite bit.
I'm off that. I was really enjoying him talking about his mental state. And then it's funny because I sent you a thing and you're like, oh, you just got through the worst part, which I'm guessing is the part that I found to be the best part.
That's so interesting.
And I was like, yeah, I did. And I thought you were talking about how the fucking dinosaur part, which I found ridiculous.
Really? I love that part where he goes to the Congo jungle and the Hadza tribe and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah, not for me.
Crazy. What are you up to? Are you up to day?
I stopped writing my thoughts.
Okay. Let me just breeze through these real quick.
Go on.
Day 4 had the day with Holly, so I didn't really miss it. But then I think it was the afternoon or at night time, Holly went out. So I went to do my classic, my favorite activity, which is I play XCOM 2 and listen to a podcast. But then I was like, wait, I can't listen to a podcast. Let me just play XCOM 2. And I was like, this is so pointless and boring.
Wow. See, that's bad. I'm concerned about you.
Me too.
I think that's a really dangerous mentality that the one game, which is supposed to be enough for your body, is not enough.
So then I just didn't even play XCOM, and then I instead
listen to a podcast.
no, tried to learn some jiu-jitsu.
Right.
The thing I like about podcasts is like it's learning something. That's why I like them.
Yeah.
And so just playing a video game, I was like, why would I just play a video game? What's the point in that? Then Sunday, so this is actually the only time in my normal life. There's 2 times in life where I listen to music. One is I'm in the car with someone, and the other one is when I'm playing Smash Bros. I don't think there's any other time in my life where I listen to music. Oh, maybe if we're eating dinner. And so I went to play Smash Bros, and usually I play Smash Bros, put on some bangers.
Right, some hype music.
I was listening to, Love Deluxe or something. What was that you sent me?
Sade. I don't exactly know how to pronounce it.
And I just wrote down, no ordinary love while playing Smash. God, I can't take it. And then I wrote, I think I have a dopamine issue.
Yes, I agree.
And then they... and that was kind of it. I just didn't realize how much of a dopamine issue I had. And so yesterday... I was like, I finally started to get over it a little bit, and I had more time to just, as you were saying, think to myself.
Right. Good.
And so
important.
I felt kind of like, dude, I want to change up like what I'm doing with my life a bit and my schedule and everything, because it's like, I guess maybe we could attribute this to the music, maybe not. But I was like, you know what? I started going to the gym 5 times a week now on the grind, and then I was like, I'm going to go to jiu-jitsu once more a week as well.
Wow.
Who knows if I would have made that decision.
I'm straight up attributing it to music because
I
think you have to think more when you listen to music.
Yeah, you have to actually think about your own thoughts.
Well, not think, but often like they'll say something and I'll reflect on my life that's something that's poignant to me. Or
it's just so fucking boring that your head
I don't
drifts
find
off.
it fucking boring, but anyway.
Your mind drifts off.
Right.
And it has made me realize that I'm like, I should definitely... I go through phases of this, but like, I need to... carve out like a bunch of time and be like, I'm not listening to maybe anything, honestly, during this time. So like, I'm going to start trying to like until like, I don't know, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., not listen to like podcasts anymore.
Did you try music for airports?
Oh, I listened to that a bit while I was just doing my taxes and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Because I was like just doing my taxes. Yeah. And it was just like super chill, slow music.
Yeah.
That was fine for doing that. But when I'm trying to play Smash Bros or...
Yeah. I mean, there's music for every moment. Like, I'm not
away.
listening to music for airports at the gym, for example, but I find that during the day I need that time to just like unwind a little bit.
That's so interesting. I find
Otherwise-
unwinding so easy.
I find it too easy otherwise to get to the end of the day and I don't even really know what's happened
Yeah.
if I'm just always stimulated. Like it lets me like think about things and like plan, and I feel like I know what's going on in my life and I'm a bit more present when I have those time, which music gives me and podcast did not give me.
Yeah, I think I need that a bit more because, I kind of drift in and out of it. I think I wouldn't never listen to podcasts. I feel like that's a bad idea. I feel like I've gained a lot of...
Well, you do like it.
I love it and I gain a lot of knowledge from it.
I
But
mean, there's
that's-
too much of anything's a bad thing, as they say.
that's like anything you're addicted to it because it is so good.
Yeah.
So that is what I realized on this.
That's a pretty big realization. I think it taught me
journey.
about how important music is to me. I just felt like overstimulated a lot, which I haven't had in a long time.
Really? Wow.
Particularly those sort of podcasts, like Joe Rogan's like...
I wish
you
you
know?
listened to the Jocko one. That'd be...
I wouldn't have been able to handle it.
That'd have been crazy.
Wait, let's hear this music reviews.
Oh, my
Best and worst or
best
something.
and worst song. Okay, the worst song.
Worst song.
I
this
wonder
is
if you
great.
remember this. It was on the J Dilla
Uh-huh.
while I was... Can you guess what song it is?
Don't cry.
Nah, it was Hi.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
And they just say hi.
I was standing at the bus stop.
Hi.
Yeah, I love that song.
It goes for fucking like... That's it. That's the whole song.
Yeah.
Hi. And I'm like...
Didn't
I
like
just
that
wanna
song. It's a
die.
banger. Look it up. All right.
So bad. Favorite song, and it was kind of just because it feeded my dopamine addiction, I think is why.
It was Joe Rogan podcast.
No, it was Teardrop.
Oh, such a good song by Massive Attack. Yeah.
It kind of like amped me up a bit, and I was like, I haven't had this.
Did you know that
delicious-
song before?
I had heard it before, I think.
It's quite popular, I think, or used to be.
But it just amped me up.
Yeah.
And I've just noticed, like, I have a big problem with that. And I
Need
think
to
I've
be
had
amped.
it
My
for
whole
as
life.
long... I think so, because I remember being a kid, and I used to... My mum can attest to this. I would, like... scream if like if Adele was playing a slow song.
Right.
I'd be like, no.
It's funny when
I'm so bored.
when Zack and I went around Australia, whenever it was a slow song, we were reviewing all the songs. He was instantly not interested,
Yeah.
and he has definitely a similar thing where it's like needs the dopamine sort of thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize it. I was getting so much dopamine.
And I
from
think it's just
frickin'
such an
podcasts.
important thing in your life is to sit and reflect and be still. It's funny that you
100%.
find the meditation good and the music poor. I don't know. That's
I think
interesting.
because of meditation, it's like
More specifically gold.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because, the meditation is like, okay, we're going to send it right now, complete chill, and then I get to think about my whole life. We're doing it.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, okay, I'm just walking around, and then it's like, I could just be listening to a podcast,
Yeah.
but I'm not.
Let me be
God
clear.
damn it.
You guys need to be listening to one podcast at least. The Underdogs podcast. Specifically better with Jackson and Jordan. Because the last one was a 10 out of 10, which is bad.
Yes, it was.
So maybe everyone else was doing the same thing, just listening to albums.
But it was so do you reckon you'll listen to any more podcasts?
Not those.
Really?
Nah. Didn't like it at all.
Didn't get to the Jocko one, though.
Didn't
so
listen.
you never
I
know.
don't think that, by the sounds of it, I don't think I'm going to get into it. I didn't mind the tape notes I quite liked because I was
That's-
talking about the albums I liked.
If it's things that you're into, that's how I got into podcasts. Is like, I'd
I mean,
like.
it makes sense. You don't listen to music you don't like, you know.
Well, I did last week,
Yeah.
but it was interesting doing something that you don't like. It was just like music I'd never heard
It's
before.
definitely the first one we've done where it's something we've actively avoided, I would say. Like, both of us, like, I don't like listening to podcasts and I have no interest in it.
Yeah,
And you the same with music, or more broadly, I suppose.
yeah.
Yeah, because everything we've done is like, yoga. It's like, I like doing yoga, or I like walking, or whatever.
This is good. Oh, yeah, I
I've
should
wanted
do
to
it
do
more.
that anyway.
This
Whereas this was the
different.
opposite.
But it did teach me a lot,
Yeah.
and I think I need to have more
So,
chill time.
Will you listen to any of those albums ever again? Or
God,
are they in the
no.
bin? They're done.
In the bin.
In the
I think I'm
bin.
better off having just no music
Just
for
nothing.
the purpose.
Yeah.
Because it's like the music was just kind of like it was a little bit of dopamine. Maybe I just have no dopamine.
Fair
I
enough.
think the good thing about music is it lets you create an emotion.
Music's like linked to a lot of life moments for me. Like, I'll listen to
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
I'm like, that reminds me of this time in my life or whatever.
Yeah, right.
It's very emotional to me.
Yeah, because I feel like if music's good to be like, I'm chilling with Holly. Let's put on some music, create happy emotion.
Nice.
Because it was just like when that sad, like here's the thing with podcasts. It was like a sad thing. Like you didn't listen to it, but it was like the Jocko one. It's like it was just like they're reading a book of like this guy who's just getting tortured in Japan for ages. But it's like you at least it's like there's a separation there, and it's like you read it and you're like, I should appreciate my life more.
Right.
But music is just like, this is sad, now you are sad. And it's like, what do I get from this?
I don't find that at all. I find like it makes me think about things that has happened to me or that have been in my life or whatever and reflect and understand how I feel about it. And often musicians put things into words that I couldn't find myself.
I agree, but I feel like a lot of the time it's just like negativity with no solution.
Oh, I just so disagree.
Really?
It's like sad stuff, but then it like helps me process it a bit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I don't want to ignore those bad thoughts. I want to think about them and be like, okay, I understand that, or I regret that, or I feel good about that, or whatever it is.
That is true. I do think, yeah.
Podcasts for the win? Is that what you think?
No. I think I'm lost.
Sounds like you're on a bit of a journey.
Yeah, I think I need to just not listen to anything more.
Right.
Which I knew already. It was kind of one of those things where you drift out of it.
Yep. So closing statement?
I'm going to just listen to less I'm going to listen to my own brain.
I like that listening to music made you want to not listen to anything.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm listening to music. This sucks. I might as well just not even listen to the music.
Yeah, sure. Just have more time to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, podcasting made me realize I can't be overstimulated. It's too much.
But then when do you learn anything?
Yeah, but I think there's something about those podcasts, like the Joe Rogan Experience, that's just so in my face that I found overwhelming in a way. When I listened to tape notes, it was much more relaxing. They're not talking like Joe Rogan's obviously one of, if not the best podcaster in terms of keeping people's attention, which is a very big skill.
Yes.
But for me, I find like it's overwhelming. It's too much in my face attention that it's just too much for me.
Very interesting. See, I like podcasts because it's like I'm getting to listen to like who I want to listen to. Like it's like, okay, I just have these people around me now who are so positive or whatever.
Yeah, that's me with musicians, I think. Like I'll be like, I want to listen to this music to feel like this way, or I feel this way, I'll listen to this or whatever.
That's cool.
Anyway, there you go. I feel like we both don't understand each other.
We both don't?
Yeah, we both have a similar thing going, but it's completely different.
I wonder why yours is... I think it's a stimulation thing.
Well, I feel like I already have enough voices.
And I feel like I've got none.
Yeah.